What's up, flamethrowers? It's me, Flame the Dragon Hog here, and welcome to another creepypasta video. Or, in other words, another scary story. Since it is almost Halloween. Getting close, kind of, even though the month just started. Anyway, today, guys, I am going to be telling you guys another story created by none other than my beautiful girlfriend, Gleam the hedgedragon. And this one is a really interesting story. It's not really about a creepypasta. It's basically about a place where a creepypasta lives. And it's titled Room 14. Now, this is definitely going to be an interesting one. Now, guys, this is going to be really scary. Okay, here we go. Room 14. Many years ago, a young woman, a single mother, actually lived in a small motel. She was a single mother who lived in a small motel, room 14. She was actually really nice. Everybody in the motel loved her. Now, the reason why she was living there was because she was actually under investigation. Well, not investigation, protection. Why? Because of her crazy ex-husband. Because of her crazy ex-husband. After they got divorced, she changed her name. Moved locations all over the place. Eventually, she managed to find shelter in that motel. The landlord, she was really nice. A nice elderly woman with a little bit of a shady personality. But overall, nice. However, one night, that ex-husband managed to find her and killed that young woman and his own children. Eventually, he was caught by the police. It wasn't really fair for that young woman to die like that. Same thing with her children. But ever since that night, a lot of strange things happened every time someone checks into room 14. And as for the landlady, she was definitely up to something too. Let's fast forward many years later. A young woman by the name of Mary, she just got off her shift at the hospital as a nurse and could barely keep her eyes open. After a long day of helping the doctors, changing bedpans, and taking care of patients, she was definitely at her limit that night. It was really hard for her to make it back home since she lived like 3 hours away. So, for the night, she decided to crash at a nearby motel. She was most definitely too tired to care about if it's in good quality or not, but she still managed to check in by that same little old lady from that last year. But she was a lot older now. Long gray hair, wrinkly face, and a hunchback. But, of course, she really didn't care, as long as she was nice. So she managed to check her into room 14. Of course, Mary, she didn't really care what room she went into, as long as it had the main essentials: a bed, clean sheets, and it was nice and quiet. So, she went into the room. It was really nice and clean. However, when she actually got into bed, a lot of strange things happened. It was really late. Around midnight. It was late around midnight, and she started hearing the sounds of babies screaming and crying. It was keeping her awake. So she hopped up and knocked on the doors of her neighbors. However, all her neighbors were baffled. Reason was because none of the neighbors actually had kids. it was really baffling at first, but she was too tired to care or think about it. So she went back to bed. Many hours later, many hours later, she started hearing knocks at the door. So she got out of bed, put on her robe, and looked. However, no one was there. It was really odd. No one was there. But however, she couldn't help but thinking, where were these knocks coming from? She really didn't pay much mind again, and she just went back to sleep. 3 o'clock in the morning, she started hearing both the crying and people knocking at the door. She even tried calling the landlady. However, she wouldn't pick up. So she took matters into her own hands and went to the landlady's office. However, she was gone. The landlady was gone. It was really curious about this. But then she noticed something on the wall. It was a picture of a young woman and her kids, on a newspaper clipping. It said, young single mother killed and children killed. That actually got her attention. And that would explain a lot, to the point where she actually thought about it. Since her neighbors didn't have any kids, she thought, could the screaming kids be these children? But then she thought, how could that be when they're dead? And same thing with the woman. She was knocking on the door, probably. But then she thought again, how could that be if they're dead? But what really caught her surprise was how she died. Ex-husband killed her in room 14. Chills went down her spine, thinking it was the same room she was staying in. Then she thought, could it be that the ghosts of that family started haunting that room? From that night, she stayed up all night, enduring the screaming children and the pounding on the door. Since she already knew the situation. In the morning, she went to visit the landlady, and then the landlady was actually there. However, it wasn't the same landlady. It was a young blonde woman. Mary asked the young blonde woman, where'd the other landlady go? Then she answered in a very, very confused voice, saying, there's no other landlady besides me. That really baffled her. Soon, Mary ran back to her room, and to her surprise, she saw the little old lady. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, she saw the little old lady. Only this time, she was holding something. It was an axe. That little old lady turned out to be the ghost of that young woman who died in that little area, the apartment. She was that little old lady. And she killed Mary that morning. That night, the blonde landlord, she checked to see, because the lease of Mary was up. However, when she went to the room, there was nothing there. All of Mary's clothes were gone. All her nurse outfit gone. Everything. The only thing that was left on the wall was 3 handprints. 2 that belonged to kids and 1 that belonged to a woman. And in blood. Was writing on the wall saying, "You're next." Suddenly, the door closed. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, and the ghost of that old lady appeared alongside her 2 children, and they attacked the blonde landlady. No one really knows what happened. No one really knows what happened to that little blonde lady or to the motel. But we can know for sure that now that they finally captured 2 victims, all that's left for them is to capture 1 more. And their spirits can finally be set free. So, who do you think will be their next victims? Or, the better question, who's brave enough to stay in room 14? Anyway, that's it for the scary story, guys. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And I also like to thank my girlfriend, Gleam the hedgedragon, for creating this. And she worked really, really hard for it. And also, Star, if you're watching this, I know we kind of bickered back and forth about these stories, and you asked me for your opinion and everything. But, please don't criticize it, because I know you worked really hard at those stories and everything. But again, it was just my opinion. Okay? So, no need to go all crazy on me. Anywho, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a like and comment down below. And also let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to hear any other stories by me and Star Gleam. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys want to hear a little bit more stories. Especially this month, since Halloween is coming up soon. Anywho, and if you guys are not already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notification bell so that way you guys be up to date whenever I post. Anyway, this is Flame the Dragon Hog signing out for now. Later, flamethrowers.